Told you once, now tell you twice. The way I feel, here's my advice. I told you once, now the way I feel, here's my advice. Now tell you twice. The way I feel, here's my advice. I told you once, now tell you twice.
You're listening to God's gift through His Word with TDRAKE. Yeah, that's right.
Hey everyone, happy Saturday to you. I'm so glad you are here today and tuning in. This, of course, is TDRAKE, and you're tuning into God's gift through His Word. And today, we are going to continue with the power of no. So I have a little help today with Aisheey from Christian Therapy. She's going to stop by today and talk about some different questions I pose. So we're going to see what she has to say, and I'm so glad to be here. I did want to share a scripture, and we will just go from there. Matthew 5:37 says, "Simply let your yes be yes and your no, no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one." And we know that at times it can be sometimes rather difficult at times when you don't want to say no. And not because maybe, and we dealt with this with Pastor Jay, saying you feel like you're going to hurt someone. That may not always be the case. And if you feel like that, you just have to take that out of your mind and just tell that person no. So we are going to deal with that today. I'm so excited. This is going to be a good time to just reflect. So I am going to step away for a minute, and I'll be back with some questions, and we'll get right into the show. Stay tuned. Hey, you are listening to God's Gift Through His Word with TDRAKE. Stick around, have a couple announcements, and we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Althea with Wove Inspirations, tuning into Miss Teniecka Drake on God's Gift Through His Word. Continue to listen to this woman of God. She has a lot of good information, and she breaks down the word small enough for you to be able to digest it slowly but surely. So continue to listen to Teniecka Drake on God's Gift Through His Word, where you will be inspired, encouraged, and uplifted to becoming all that you were predestined to be. Hey, this is Althea with Wove Inspirations. You guys have an awesome day. God bless.
Hello, this is Pastor Jay of Walk of Truth Radio Network, coming over to say hello to my friend and my fellow podcaster and the greatest motivator in the entire world. Everybody talks about my motivation, but I tell you what, if you really want to get motivated and inspired, come over to God's Gift Through His Word and listen to my sister in Christ, Teniecka Drake. Yes, this is Pastor Jay saying, if you want to be encouraged, blessed, and be at peace, come over to God's Gift Through His Word. Teniecka Drake, the greatest podcaster and motivator of all times. This is Pastor Jay. Love you, Teniecka. Peace.
welcome back. So, do you see no as a word of protection and power, or more of a freedom and empowerment word? What are your thoughts? So, as we think about this and we can reflect in our own minds of how we would answer this, let me just go over to my newfound podcasting friend, Aisheey from Christian Therapy. She's going to come by and kind of address this and see what she has to say and her take on this particular question. So stick around, stay tuned, and the next voice you will hear will be Aisheey from Christian Therapy.
Thank you so much for that question. I personally think that's such an interesting question. For me, it is a bit of both. So on the one hand, I see no as a word of protection and power, because for me, it sets out my boundaries. When I mean no, that highlights what my boundaries are. And for me, my boundaries are a source of protection for me, especially in my spiritual journey. So when I say no, that's my way of exerting exactly what my boundaries are. So for me, it's a huge part of protection. But also, it is also a thing of empowerment for me. And I say that because, I know a lot of people can relate to not being able, feeling like they can't say no sometimes. And when you've gone through that phase in your life where you used to feel, so like when you go through, for some people, I know for me, I went through a lot growing up, and for me, the art of saying no was such a huge thing, because I lived in this world of like just being so silent about everything, because I just felt like I couldn't really say certain things out. So for me, saying no was such a huge problem, because I was always thinking about, I didn't want how it would affect the other person. I didn't want the other person to feel bad. But in turn, that actually became an issue for me, because a lot of things were happening to me that didn't have to happen, for example, or I was doing a lot of things that I could have avoided if I had just said no. So for me, growing up and, through therapy and, just conscious. So through therapy and, just being intentional about saying no, I actually practiced and learned the art of saying no. And I think like sometimes it's underestimated how important it is to be able to say no, especially when you mean no. I'm a believer of don't say no unless you mean no. And don't say it as no, but you really mean yes. Just if your yes is, let your yes be yes and your no be no. So I'm a believer of that. But for me, coming from a point where I wasn't really saying no, I just let things happen, and would feel discomfort about certain things, but would never say no. For me, saying no now when I say no I actually feel empowered by that. Because I'm just like, I'm finally speaking up about exactly how I feel about situations and drawing my boundaries. So that's why I explained that. That's why I said for me, it's a bit of both. On the one hand, it's my way of saying, my way of like saying that I need to be protected. And is also a word of power for me. But also on the other hand, it's a word of freedom and empowerment. Because that represents when I felt like I had to be silent, and all of a sudden now, with me rediscovering my voice and being very vocal about, what my boundaries are and what I don't accept and what I will not accept, it's like I'm all of a sudden training people in how to treat me and what my boundaries are. So yeah, it is a huge source of empowerment for me at this stage. I hope that answers your question.
So yes, that absolutely does answer my question. So I just wanted to pose a few more. And I was wondering, have you ever had a time where a no was given to you, and was it easy or hard to deal with? Because I know we can at times get no's, and it might not be so easy for us. So perhaps you've gone through a different kind of space where that no was given to you. And if not, explain an experience that you do have that kind of can correlate with the no. So I am looking forward to hearing what you have to say in your perspective on the no that'll be given this way. So I can't wait to hear.
So in the setting of like intimacy, and in relationships, I've never really had the word no being said to me, so I haven't really been on the receiving end of no. But it's one of those things where being on the side of someone giving the no and seeing how people respond to no, sometimes I can empathize with the fact that sometimes you just don't want to hear no. But it's one of those things where, for me, I've experienced no in respect to like my career. And when I think about that, was it easy hearing no? No. But at the same time, it was one of those things where I respected their decision, and that was that. So I like to think like if I was ever in a situation where I heard the word no, in terms of relation. Yeah, I would like to think like in the, if I was in a relationship and, we're trying to be intimate, for example, and my partner said no, I would, of course, respect my partner's decision. It's one of those things where people don't always say what you want to hear, but you have to respect whatever their decision is. It's the same way you have a choice, they also have a choice. So I think for me, it would not be that hard for me. In the moment, would I, maybe be a little, upset about the situation, maybe. But it wouldn't be that hard for me, just because I'm generally one of those people who, especially like because I've experienced a lot of no in my career, I think I'm maybe accustomed to it.
And, every day I think about this song, and I'm going to do it verse by verse because we only have a minute per message. So I'm definitely going to sing the whole thing, but I'll do it minute by minute. I don't know about tomorrow. I just live from day to day. I don't borrow from the sunshine, for its skies may turn to gray. I don't worry of the future, for I know what Jesus said, and today I'll walk beside him, for he knows what lies ahead. Many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know who holds tomorrow, and I know who holds my hand. I don't worry of the future, for I know what Jesus said, and today I'll walk beside him,
for he knows what lies ahead. Many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know who holds tomorrow, and I know who holds my hand. Many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know who holds tomorrow, and I know who holds my hand. Every step is getting brighter as the golden stairs I climb. Every burden's getting lighter. Every cloud is silver lined. There the sun is always shining. There no tear will dim the eye at the ending of the rainbow, where the mountains touch the sky. Many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know who holds tomorrow, and I know who holds my hand.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to it, Miss Teniecka Drake. You already know. But you know what? I was hitting those high notes. Now I got a little freestyle for you. Ooh, Miss Teniecka Drake. She been doing it so real, never fake. She got such good vibes oozing out the phone that I feel so around when I am so alone. Picking me up when I'm down like, oh, Miss Teniecka Drake. If they don't know, now they know. This is like a show promo. Enjoy it, here we go with the ill type flow. What you saying? What you saying? I let it go. What you saying? What you saying? What you saying? Miss Teniecka Drake, I let it go. Oh, I kill the rhyme slow. They be loving me and I let it like, oh. Yeah, you listening to Teniecka Drake, ladies and gentlemen. Bang, bang.
All right, everyone. It's been such an amazing time. I'm enjoying this. I cannot keep myself contained. I'm just like, woo. So anyway, we have another question. This will be the final question to wrap up the show. But I wanted to present it, and you think about it as well. Listeners out there, think about this question as I pose it, and all the questions that you've heard. Think about if there's been a time that you've had to say no, or somebody has said no to you. What in your mind changed, or did it really matter? So here's the big question. No can be viewed in a negative light. Do you see that as true, or can no also be positive? Let's listen and find out what Aisheey has to say.
Absolutely. I know in the moment sometimes no might feel like the end of the world, or it just feels like, oh no, this is so negative. This is definitely not what I wanted to hear. But if we're thinking back to the fact that, it's coffin season, and if we think about the context of no in that context. So for example, if, we're in a relationship, but we're not married yet, and I'm celibate and we've already discussed our boundaries. And if, for example, I was then insinuating or coming on to my partner and, wanting us to have sex, for example, if he says no, that is positive because I was, moving towards coming out of, what our plans were, which is our celibacy journey. So I think if we think about no in the sense that no is, if we think about it in the sense of no is for your protection, then you can see no in a positive light. And also if I'm just thinking about, my relationship with God, and sometimes when God says no, I just know it's for my protection, because when he says no, that's because he has something better planned for me. So that's how I see it. So for me, no is not always a negative thing. No is positive. And I think we should also embrace the fact that, no could be for your protection and for your preservation. Months down the line, you could come back and think, oh, wow, if my partner didn't say no, maybe we would have been having premarital sex, for example. Or if my partner didn't say no, who knows what could have happened. And if I'm flipping that over to you being the one saying no, and if you think about you saying no as you exerting your boundaries, it's you enforcing your power, because sometimes I think, especially when we're in, dating relationships, we tend to let the other person have the power to decide what happens in the relationship, but both of you are in that relationship. So it should be a joint decision on, what happens and how the relationship should go and the course of the relationship in general. So if you're saying no and you're expressing exactly how you feel about certain issues, then you're, one, protecting yourself, but you're also being very clear. And you're also managing the expectations of whoever it is your partner is, for example. So I think there's so many reasons why no is very, very good. You should be able to say no. Another reason I think, you should view saying no as in a positive light, especially, is because if you don't say no and you truly mean no, and so many things are happening, it will get to a point where you feel like you have no control over your life. And you will start to resent yourself for not having the strength to say no. And it's important that you don't get into that space at all. So I think it's always important to train yourself to see no in a positive light. It just means you don't want to do this, and that's okay. Whatever it is, you should be able to say no. It is your choice, and it is something that is very important to ensure that in whatever it is you're doing, involved in relationships, work, you have a say in exactly how you want your life to be. And one of the biggest steps is by saying no.
All right, so that was so amazing. Thank you so much, Aisheey, for sharing your thoughts. I'm so glad that today we've had a chance to go over what it means to say no, and it's given all of us something to think about. So on today, I hope that you have enjoyed this segment, this particular episode, and I hope you are being reflective and just thinking, as much as we've got COVID out here and cuffing season, and I guess the new terminology that someone has put up from Cosmo, coving season, it's different. It is challenging. So I just want you guys to know that, like Aisheey said, it is your choice. You do have a say, so don't let the no scare you. Just let your yes be yes and your no be no. And you know what? That individual that is going to be in your life will come at the right time. So with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and we will be back for another segment next Saturday. And of course, I will be talking with you guys on Monday. So have a blessed day, and thank you for tuning in. God bless your hearts.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for enjoying my mom's show, God's Gift Through His Word. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I hope you guys stay tuning into my mom's show.
You are listening to God's Gift Through His Word with your hostess, Teniecka Drake. If you enjoy the show here, don't forget to go to the Apple Podcast platform and make sure to leave a review and a 5-star rating so that other listeners can find her. Reviews are the best way for people to know how great she is. You can also go to the Castbox app and leave a comment on her show. Thank you so much for listening. Here's Teniecka.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have thoroughly enjoyed God's gift through His Word. Please don't forget to check me out on all the following podcast platforms: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Castbox, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podbean, ListenNotes.com, LoftyCast.com, Radio Public, of course, and Spotify. There are tons more podcast platforms. You can definitely check me out on any of those that you feel to do. And please do not forget to get social with me. You can find me on Facebook, IG, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Let me know how you found me. Let me know how we can get connected. And maybe you can also be a guest on the show. So I hope you're going to have an amazing day, an amazing night, an amazing afternoon whenever you tune into God's gift through His Word from all the different countries and from all the different places where you tune in each and every day. I hope that you find this inspiring, hope you find it motivating, and I hope it helps you just a little bit walk a little stronger in your faith with the Lord. Have an amazing day. Remember to always be blessed, motivated, and inspired to do what God has laid on your heart. Take care, and thank you for tuning in.